As the object of writing Sai Satcharitra, Hemadpant says, I heard miracles of Sai Baba to my great delight, and this delight burst forth into this poetic work. I also thought that the description of these miracles of Sai Baba would be interesting and instructive to his devotees and would remove their sins. And so I began to write the sacred life and teaching of Sai Baba.
Miracle is body. And true love is self, God. Miracle is also God, but it's a form of God. It's not God, it's an expression of God. But love, freedom, you cannot separate from God. This is God directly. You get it, what I mean? So, it starts with fear. It starts, you go with the body consciousness to the master. And with the body consciousness, you have fear that you can lose the body, that the body can get diseases or can hurt. And so you want to make safe the body. And if the body is in fear or it is in disaster, then you go to the guru and say, Baba, help me like a child to the father. But it's not help me. You say help me, you say help me. But you should better say, please help my body. I'm in a disaster with my body. That would be better.
If you search for miracles.
And this is the reason why you search for miracles. But the one who is already so close to Baba that he knows he cannot die, they will not ask for miracle. Because they know the whole life is a miracle. They will ask, Baba, I need your presence. That's all. Everything happens in your presence by itself. Whether they call it miracle or not, it doesn't matter. Then you surrender. Then you surrender completely in his presence. And with this surrender, you go in his presence directly as him. You lose your own I thoughts, you lose your own will, you lose everything you lose. And it's in this silent mind, he is overtaking you. He said to Hemadpant, I will remove all this and then he will be in my presence.
Life of a Saint.
The life of a saint is neither logical nor dialectical. It shows us the true and great path of Brahmgyan and self-realization. It guides us in truth itself, it guides us in love itself, and realize us that we are already freedom itself, and we are not separate from God. That's in this path, in the path of a true saint. He will point you on that truth. And guides you out of your body consciousness in consciousness, Shuddha Chaitanya itself.
In this section, Incapacity and Boldness in Undertaking the Work, Hemadpant expresses self-doubt on his ability to write Sai Satcharitra.
Hemadpant said he was not fit person to undertake the work. He said, I do not know the life of my intimate friend, nor do I know my own mind. Then how can I write the life of a saint or describe the nature of incarnations which even the Vedas were unable to do? Without being aware of my own mind, my own feelings, my own body needs, my hidden desires, how can I write about Dattatreya incarnated in Shri Sai Baba? That's the meaning of this. And he gives also the answer. He said, one must be a saint himself before one know other saints. Otherwise, how can I describe the glory? Without grace, without the destiny, without Baba's love, which opens up in you, you can nothing write about Baba or a saint.
Then the next question arises in Hemadpant. While so many books regarding Sai Baba were already present, then why should he write Sai Satcharitra?
The answer is plain and simple. The life of Sai Baba is as wide and deep as the infinite ocean, and all can dive deep into the same and take out precious gems of knowledge and bhakti and distribute them among the inspiring people. The stories, parables, and teachings of Sai Baba are very wonderful. They will give peace and happiness to the people who are afflicted with sorrows and heavily loaded with miseries of this worldly existence, and also bestow knowledge and wisdom both in worldly and spiritual domains. If these teachings of Sai Baba, which are interesting and instructive as the Vedic lore, are listened to and meditated upon, the devotees will get what they long for. Viz, union with Brahm, mastery in eightfold yoga, bliss of meditation, etc. So, I thought that should call these stories together, that would be best upasana. This collection would be most delightful to those simple ones whose eyes were not blessed with Sai Baba's darshan. Spiritual path starts with the body consciousness at the center. And the center wants to get. But that what you are is Shuddha Chaitanya. This is centerless, a centerless being. The consciousness in all. There is no getting, no losing in it. So what you start with this body consciousness, and this means you get peace, happiness, and let go your sorrows and heavily loaded in your worldly existence. But then, in the presence of the Master, you lose in Shuddha Chaitanya, your I thought, your identity. This means you lose your center, what you call I, what you call body, what you call my feelings, my possessions, my sins, my guilt, my shame. And give all this to the Almighty, and silence will remain as Satchitananda, as the Guru himself. It starts with that you get vis, powers, and then when you surrender all the powers and say and see that I'm silence, more than all centers are all powers are gone. You are walking on a razor. Then Brahm Gyan comes by itself. And the side effect of this Brahm Gyan is the mastery in Eightfold Yoga, what he describes here. And what is then there is also bliss of meditation. This means Ananda. In Baba's presence, in Sai Baba's darshan, all this can happen if you surrender to that what Baba is and what you also are. You have to give up all the false identities, and you will remain as Brahm, silence. The outcome of his boundless self is boundless self-realization. Who inspired me in this matter? In fact, Hemadpant surrendered his ego at the feet of his master and thought that my path is now clear, and Baba makes me quite happy here and in the next world.
Obtaining the permission for writing Sai Satcharitra.
So Hemadpant was very humble, and he feels he cannot go to Baba directly and ask him for permission to do the work, to write the Sai Satcharitra. So he goes to Shama and speak with him. And then Shama said to Baba, "This Anna Sahib wishes to write your biography. Baba, don't say that you are poor fakir and there is no necessity to write it. But if you, Baba, agree, you help him, he Hemadpant will write, or rather, your grace will accomplish the work. Without your consent and blessing, nothing can be done successfully." He pleased Baba, please Baba, help him. It is needed. Your presence is needed writing this Sai Satcharitra. When Sai Baba heard this request, he was deeply moved and blessed Hemadpant by giving him Udi, sacred ash, and placing his boon bestowing hand on his head and said, Baba said, "Let him make a collection of stories and experiences, keep notes and memos. I will help him. He is only an outward instrument. I should write my autobiography myself and satisfy the wishes of my devotees. He should get rid of his ego, surrender at my feet. He who acts like this in life, him I help the most. What of my life stories? I serve him in his house in all possible ways. When his ego is completely annihilated and there is left no trace of it, I myself shall enter into him and shall myself write my own life. Hearing my stories and teachings will create faith in devotees' hearts, and they will easily get self-realization and bliss. Let there be no insistence in establishing one's own view, no attempt to refute others' opinions, no discussions of pro and cons of any subject." What does it mean? Let him do his work. I will be with him. I will help him to overcome all his impurities, like I thoughts, like identities, like separations, feeling separate. And he will give all his impurities to my feet. And if he is doing this, I will serve him in all possible ways in his house where he is doing this, even when my body not present, but I'm present even without my body. When this ego is completely annihilated and there is left no trace of it, I myself will be completely in him and guide him so that I write in the end my own life. This will help a lot of people to create faith in their hearts, and in the end they will be self-realized and full of ananda bliss. They should not insist on their own view, on their own opinions, and they should not go in discussing pro and cons of any subject.
Hemadpant's first darshan of Sai Baba.
The first darshan of Hemadpant is also described in the Sai Satcharitra chapter 2. He writes, I ran and prostrated before Baba, and my joy knew no bounds. I have found more than what Nana Chandoka had told me. All my senses were satisfied, and I forgot my thirst and hunger. This means I forget my body. The moment I touched Sai Baba's feet, I began a new lease of life. I felt I felt myself much obliged to those who spurred and helped me to get the darshan, and considered them as my real relatives. I cannot repay their debt. I only remember them and prostrate mentally before them. The peculiarity of Sai Baba's darshan, as I found it, is that by his darshan our thoughts are changed. The force previous actions is abated, and gradually no attachment and dispassion towards worldly objects grows up. It's by the merits of actions in many past births that such darshan is got. And if only you see Sai Baba, all the world assumes the form of Sai Baba. First, he bowed to his guru. And what happens is that he forgets his body. He forgets thirst and hunger. This means he forgets his identity. The moment I touched his feet, he knew intuitively that a new life has started. And he was very thankful to that people who helped him to get the darshan. So thankful, so that he said, they are so close to me, I feel them as my real relatives. And I will never can repay what they gave me. So I also want to prostrate before them. And then he said something, my thoughts were changed. Before, I was in this I thoughts. He was in this I thoughts. Now something changed. It means he was not so hanging on his thoughts, not so identified with his thoughts. He said, the force of previous action is abated, and gradually non-attachment or dispassion towards worldly objects grows up. The force to hang on his previous actions, on his thoughts, was not there in Baba's presence. And he was more and more non-attached to the worldly objects. If you feel that and see that you are more and more silent, this means also the inner joy starts in you, comes up in you. And this is this ananda. You have never experienced this before. And you feel when this comes up and you are so deep in peace, you feel very thankful because you know that something deeply happens in you, so much grace. And it needs a lot of birds to have the grace of such a darshan with Baba.
Necessity of a Guru.
How Hemadpant get to know on his very first day the Guru is a necessity, to sit in his presence is obligate. Kaka Sahib went to Baba and asked, where to go? Baba, where to go? And then Baba said, high up. High up, this means where the air is thin. Not easy to live there. Walking on a razor. Then Kaka Sahib said, where is the way? Then Baba said, there are many ways leading. There's also one way from Shirdi, here now. The ways are difficult. You have to face the tiger and the wolves in the jungle. And with your innocence, it's not easy. Then Kaka Sahib said, if we take a guide, then Baba said, yeah, with a guide it's easy to reach, no danger at all, you cannot get lost. You have to face the reality. This means you have to face the I thought, the needs of the body, the needs of your feelings, needs of all the different bodies. And then you cannot get lost in this jungle and you cannot fall in ditches. Hemadpant gets it. It's not about rejection, the tiger and the wolves. What the most people think. This thinking is in body consciousness. But Baba thinks not in body consciousness. So if it's not about fear, not about body consciousness, then it's about trust. Shraddha. It's not about attraction and rejection, because attraction and rejection needs an I thought. It's about full trust, Shraddha. Baba's presence is nourishing you with full trust, with Shraddha. This Shraddha will guide you. Shraddha itself. This means Baba itself in his presence.
Hot discussions between Hemadpant and Bala Sahib Pate.
I want to come back to the hot discussion, which is between the doership and the karma. Doership, as I am the doer, is one tiger, and the wolf, the other wolf, is it's all destiny and karma, and I have nothing to do. So the first is Hemadpant. He said, what is the necessity of a guru? Why we should lose our freedom, submit to others? When we have to do our duty, why a guru is necessary? One must try his best and save himself. What can the guru do to a man who does nothing but sleeps indolently? Thus I pleaded free will. This is the clear doership. I am the doer. What if I am not doing anything? What can the doer do? I have to do it by my own. This is one tiger. So, and the other wolf is, it's also wrong that you say what Mr. Bhatti said. He said, destiny, he spoke about destiny. Whatever is bound to happen must happen, and even great men have failed. Man proposed one way, but God disposes the other way. Brush aside your cleverness, pride, and egoism won't help you. This means destiny and karma is the only one who decides what has to happen. And this means I can trust my karma and my destiny only. But right is, you have to do the greatest effort to the greatest effort, and on the other side, you cannot escape from your destiny. So do the best and trust the Guru that your destiny is just now, in this moment, the best what can happen. Then you will not bother about freedom or unfreedom. You will only follow your inner freedom, your inner joy in the presence of the Master, and you will be happy. And you will not lose your freedom, your inner freedom. You will say, the Master is sorting out the best for me. I do the best, so I'm happy in his presence.